Obviously, a bit of a stressful time out there in the world right now. And I do want to speak to that a bit later on, because I guess it also ties into the topic of cancellations. But that wasn't even my intention in making this video, at least when I started thinking about this, because I've been racking my brain on this for the past week or so, since before the pandemic panic hit full swing. So I'll start with the main topic that I wanted to focus on, which is I've been going back and forth for the past week or so since we got a couple episodes into the Nether survival series, just thinking about whether or not to continue it. The response has been the people who are watching it seem to be enjoying it, but in terms of the amount of people watching, it doesn't seem like that many people are interested. And generally, I find myself being able to predict the response when I upload a video. But this, I was totally wrong, and I expected a lot of people to be into it. But maybe it's a result of the fact that I had a live streamed and CaptainSparklez 2 series called Quest for Netherite very, very recently, where I played through the new snapshots until I got a full set of Netherite and then beat the Ender Dragon. And there could have been a lot of people here on this channel who watched that, since it did get good viewership. And maybe those people think, well, it's going to be the same as that, so I'm not going to click on the Nether survival series here. Or it could be that because I didn't jump into the Nether immediately in the first episode, the interest kind of waned immediately, and then people weren't interested in the future episodes. Or maybe I'm just not entertaining. I'm perfectly willing to accept that as well. But either way, I think the series has a lot of potential for sure. And I don't think that in its current form, it's living up to that potential necessarily. And so that's why I think for now, I'll be suspending that series. And then I'll go back to my original idea, which was that when 1.16 officially launches, it'll probably have spaced the time out a little bit from the series that was live streamed on CaptainSparklez 2. And obviously now we just introduced Nether Gold Ore. That requires new chunks to be generated whenever the Piglin Bastions, which are the Nether village equivalents, whenever those are introduced. I mentioned that at the start, but again, it will require new chunks. And I knew that going into it, but it's an added benefit that when 1.16 fully releases, I won't have to worry about going further and finding new chunks just to find the new features. So I think we'll get that benefit as well. So I apologize to those of you who have been enjoying watching the series. I think it can be better. I think once all the features are out, it'll be nice to get all that immediately, and it'll be more spaced out from the last Nether series on CaptainSparklez 2. And I'll know to just dive right into the Nether from the first episode rather than dragging things out. And there might even be more gameplay mechanics at the full release that allow you to just dive into the Nether, and then you can just survive immediately off the bat. You don't really need to gear up on stuff in the overworld. You can just kind of go straight to it and see if you can survive kind of doing Nether only. So I just think that it wasn't able to live up to its full potential. It can be better. And so I'd like to suspend it and think it through and do a better job next time around. So I'm sorry, it's at least with the current 4 episodes going to go the way of Pokemon Heart Gold. May it rest in peace. I know there are people who still to this day ask me, whatever happened to the Pokemon Heart Gold Let's Play? And I'm like, well, it was a long time ago. I was hoping you'd just forget about that. So let's forget about this, and we'll make it bigger and better when we jump into it. So super sorry for canceling that. I don't think I've ever done that to a Minecraft survival series before, and I'm disappointed to do so. But I think it has more potential, and I'd like to try to make that happen when it's fully released and the right time to do it. So anyway, speaking of cancellations, I hope everyone out there watching this is doing all right, and you're taking precautions, obviously, against the virus. It's a very scary, stressful time out there in the world. I feel like I got kind of my first dose of it a couple nights ago, when for the first time since all the panic really started to set in here in the US, I went to the grocery store and got the full brunt of, the toilet paper aisle completely gone, nothing there at all. And that really baffles me, because it's like, you're not gonna poop more as a result of the virus. Yes, if you get it, there is a very small percentage that get diarrhea as a symptom for it, but it's not, I don't think, one of the primary concerns as to why people are buying toilet paper. I don't know why toilet paper. That's real. It's a mystery to me. I'm like, some of us actually just need to get toilet paper because we're running low at home. We just need to get some more toilet paper. And it means there are people out there who have to have just gigantic closets and rooms full of all the toilet paper. Maybe they're trying to speculate on it so that they can sell toilet paper for like $100 for a roll because toilet paper is not already expensive enough. And so they're just trying to find a way to make a profit. I don't know. And also, I will eat my words if I am wrong on this. But even if there is a countrywide self-imposed quarantine, I don't think that grocery stores will be shut down. And I also don't think that the manufacturing of toilet paper would be cut as a result. And so you'd still have the supply chain. You'd still have the ability to get it. And it would still be available for delivery, most likely via services like Amazon. So I don't think that your supply of toilet paper would really be in jeopardy if you just bought it at a normal pace. It seems that now it's self-imposed because of the people who've decided to hoard it. And now, because people have started to hoard it, whenever it appears on shelves and restocks, immediately people are going to grab it because they're scared other people are going to hoard it. And how long will the cycle continue? I don't know. So, I mean, man, I really hope that I'm correct in that even if there is some sort of countrywide quarantine, I believe the way it's working in Italy is that still essential services like grocery stores are open. It's just that non-essential things like restaurants and bars, after a certain period of time during the day, those are the things that are shut down. But they're not making it so that you can't actually get food or things if you're in need of that. So maybe this could change. It's a very dynamic situation, but please don't hoard toilet paper. Some people actually need it, and it'd be good to be able to have. Fortunately, I've got some, and I'm good for a little while. I just made a purchase of toilet paper right before things really got out of control, which maybe I shouldn't say because toilet paper is going to become like more valuable than gold. I have no toilet paper at all. I have no toilet paper whatsoever. I'm going in bushes now. Okay, you don't want to be anywhere near here. It's a minefield. But I guess try to be considerate of others in your actions is all I'm trying to communicate about that. I think there is enough to go around in terms of essential supplies. And as long as people aren't panicking, and it does inevitably create a gigantic amount of waste after intaking all of these panic supplies. If the situation improves, then inevitably there's going to be tons of food waste. Toilet paper, I guess, will get used eventually, but I would hate to see all of that waste end up happening after the fact. The people in front of me in the line at the grocery store, they looked like they bought all of the ramen. So these are packets that are charged individually. It's like what I forget what the Maruchan, is that what it's called? Whatever the basic top ramen is that most people recognize. And the packets are sold individually. They bought like all the boxes. There were no more ramen on the shelves. And then I got to the checkout and I was like, oh, you guys got all of it. So the cashier was having to count individually. It had to have been like a couple hundred ramen packages. And I'm just like, okie dokie. Well, hey, all right. That's a thing. So, I mean, this will be a time that in decades from now, will be looked back on as like a pivotal event in human history. And I guess I hope that it is able to be resolved. I'm not going to speculate and make claims as to this is how it's going to infect people. This is how long it's going to last, because I just don't know enough. But I hope that all of you out there who are probably mostly youthful, it seems like you have a much lower risk of a serious long-term impact from it. But at the same time, obviously, you want to be careful of those around you who are older or immunocompromised. So if not for yourself, take precautions for those other people and try to think about them too. And obviously, if you do feel sick, it may not be coronavirus. It may just be a cold. It may be a flu, but in the state of panic that most people seem to be in right now, I guess just maybe be less inclined to go to public places that you might have otherwise if you in the past just had a cold or something like that. So it's crazy. Unprecedented events, at least in these modern times. You had instances like the Spanish flu, what was it, like 100 years ago? but we didn't have this technology available that instantly propagates information. And so to have this going on with the instant propagation of information where everyone knows what's happening, it's incredible, it's scary, and I hope that it will also get everyone ready for what could potentially be an even more serious pandemic in the future, which hopefully doesn't happen. But there is always a potential for something with a much, much higher mortality rate to propagate like this has. So I hope that this will allow countries to try to get the systems in place that can more quickly respond to something like this, because obviously it's a lot of people have had to make a lot of very, very rapid adjustments because of this being a very new, unprecedented situation. So anyway, wishing you all the best, and hopefully things will take a turn for the better at some point in the near future. But until then, at least on the plus side, I can work from home and hopefully continue to bring you video content uninterrupted as usual. I'll do my best to do that, because I do know that probably for a lot of people with everything that's going on, this sort of thing is kind of going to be the escape from daily life if it wasn't already. So I will do my best, and I hope you will do your best too, to adopt all the sanitary measures and best practices that will help things going forward. So anyway, yeah, in the whole scheme of things, very minor cancellation with the Nether survival series to more of a serious one impacting everyone. And so we can just look on the bright side with the Nether thing, is that in the overall scheme of what's happening in the world right now, a series being suspended, it's not our biggest concern. So, but that said, video is still continuing, and I will do that better than before when 1.16 is fully released. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and stay safe out there.